I'm just going to record. There we go. Let me just let everybody else in. All right, let's see how I can. There we go. There. Okay. Okay, good morning, everybody. I might have to take some time just to keep admitting some people in, but I do want to get started on time. So I want to thank you very much for being here this morning. I'm excited that we can meet up and that I can share some information with you. The group has been really fun, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it so far. Let me know. I don't know if you can do this, but if you can unmute yourselves, I'll call you out, and let me know if you have. Received the first meal plan. The second one is going to be coming out, I think, next week. And have you made anything yet? And what's your favorite thing been so far? So let's start with Claire.
I don't think I've received the meal plans yet, but obviously I received this invitation.
Yes, yeah, I did that separately. So we are still having some technical difficulties, it looks like, but I think it's just people that tried to register before. So I need to get on that. So I'm going to write your name down here. After this,
okay, thank you.
Would you do me a favor and DM me, just reminding me of this, and then give me your email, and that way I'll make sure that right after this, I'll put you into this list and you'll get the plan right away.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And then while I do have you here, why don't you tell us where you're from, and then maybe something about like why meal prepping is important to you, or why you're excited for this group, what you hope to learn.
Okay, well, I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and I have done some meal prepping in the past, but I'm interested in getting some new meal plans and getting some just tips on how to keep going with it.
Awesome.
And trying to stay healthy.
Good. Yeah, that helps with the consistency. Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Okay, how about Pam?
Hey, I'm going to put my camera on even though I'm still in my morning gear. How are you?
Okay, good.
I'm in Satellite Beach, Florida.
Oh, nice.
And I was really looking at the overnight oats, but I haven't gotten all the ingredients. So we meal prep as a family, but we just fall into that habit of having the same stuff over and over. And so I'm really excited about the change in the menu that you sent us. So.
Good. Yeah. It's exciting when you have something to follow and other people are doing it too. And then you just have some sort of structure, and that way it keeps those creative juices kind of flowing, and you'll find things that you like. It's funny that you talk about the overnight oats. Like, it's literally like the staple. Oh, yeah. I eat it all the time, and it's good because you can put whatever toppings you're kind of feeling. And it's easy breakfast. So yeah, I love it. Awesome.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then, no, you answered everything. So you already got the meal plan.
Yes, I did.
Okay, perfect. Okay, Cindy.
Hey, I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, and I have not received the meal plan. I don't think. I haven't seen it, or I don't have it, but I may have missed it. Okay. And I have 3 very busy children that keep me kind of away most of the time with sports and things. So I think meal prepping will be important for me to just stay on top of eating healthy when it's just chaotic.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to some structure. I need structure.
Yes, structure, and that way it just keeps that lack of structure. But that's what leads you to then just be like, oh, we'll just eat this, or we eat the same things, or we'll just make pasta, or we'll order in, or blah blah. So yeah, that will definitely help to keep that stress away, especially if you're busy with 3 other kids doing other things. So that's great. I'm glad that can help you out. And I've written you down again here. Again, if you could just DM me with your email and that you still need to be put on this list, then I'll make sure you get that right away.
Awesome. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, wait. There you go. And Michelle.
Yes. Hey, how are you?
Hi, good morning. I think you just joined the group. I don't know if you've heard, but we were just going around introducing ourselves, saying one thing about why the meal prep group is kind of important to you and what you hope to learn from today. And also, if have you received the first meal plan yet and any other emails that kind of went along with that?
No, I have not. I just joined.
Okay. So let me write you down. Perfect. Okay, so I'll make sure that you get that. If you could DM me that you need this, and then your email, I'll just make sure that you get that. And then, yeah, why have you joined? What is the hope of this group and of today's session?
So for me, it's I guess just getting in a healthier mindset and plan. And I think I know food is my problem. Exercise is not.
Yeah.
So that's where I need the discipline and the help.
Awesome.
So
yeah, discipline, structure, ideas, inspiration. That's a key theme through everybody, I think. So I hope to keep everything fresh. If you guys ever have suggestions or ideas or recipes or an idea for a masterclass or anything you want to learn, just let me know. It helps me. So I'm not always thinking everything by myself. So I hope we continue to help each other.
great. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so just for time's sake, I'll stop it there. And that was actually a great segue into the presentation. So let me share my screen with you. Okay, and there we go. Oops. There we go. Okay, so today's masterclass, when I did the poll, I asked what everybody wanted to kind of start with, and people wanted to go with nutrition basics. So I think that's a great place to start. There's a lot of questions, a lot of noise in the industry that makes it really difficult to kind of navigate food, which is why a lot of people do tend to kind of focus on fitness. It just seems very straightforward, burn the calories, do the work, and then you know that you should get the rewards and you feel it immediately, where diet isn't immediate, and some things work for some people or some things work for others differently. And then, like I said, the industry, the health industry, the food industry makes it very confusing with all their biased data that they produce, the really unclear food labeling. There's no uniform labeling, all the different words they're using, big words, or like 50 different words for sugar alone on packaging. It just makes it very confusing for consumers, and it's done on purpose so that, you know, if you're confused, then you're more likely just to grab from what your psychology is telling you. And so what they do is they package items in what's called like a health halo. So it looks healthy, it's green, it's got a happy chicken on the cover. And that way your decision making is quicker than actually diving in and figuring which is better than the other. And that just makes things so confusing. So that's why a lot of people tend to focus on fitness and not diet, but diet is actually like 75% of the battle, whether you're trying to lose weight, gain muscle. So I'm going to start admitting some people in here too. It just be healthy overall in general. So this presentation is going to debunk some of these things. It's going to try and make clear some of the just basics in nutrition to follow. Yes, there is a ton of diets out there. Yes, some things work for people, but a lot of the time it's about balance. And so Michelle, what you had just talked about is just finding a healthy balance in life and in your diet. And you had said, you focus on fitness, which a lot of people do. So I hope to kind of close that gap, because a lot of us here are Peloton fans, and we just, we love our workouts. But if you're not putting the same effort in the kitchen, you're really you're not wasting your time, but you aren't being efficient. You're not being optimal with your time and with all your efforts. It just doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be as difficult as it seems. So let's dive in. here's a little bit about myself. I've explained a little bit on the group, but if you haven't met me yet, I'm Jennifer. I am a nutritional therapist as well as nutritional chef and health coach. And I've been working at this for a really long time. The chefing thing kind of came about 5 years ago. I had an Instagram and a blog, and I talk a lot about food politics, and people want to eat that way. They want to know and put trust into someone who knows how to navigate, food packaging and claims, supplements, as well as, good food. And I've always loved cooking. I've been cooking since I was a kid with my mom. So I really hope that I can lay this on to you and share it with you, and that I'll get you, motivated and inspired to kind of do the same, while showing you how simple it can be. Because I started with honestly battling my own weight issues. I was always kind of chubby as a kid. And as I got into college, it just got worse. and I started working out, and it wasn't going anywhere. And then I was working with a personal trainer, and I discovered the Zone diet. I don't know if you guys remember that, but it was a good start. It was a good way for me to start cooking and learning macros. Up until I was 18, I had no idea what a macro was. I didn't know that, food was made up of different pillars and how to balance that. So I really think that's a great way to start. And that's kind of where we're going to go from here. But again, let's talk about balance. So again, while we love fitness, there's other things that contribute to our health and wellness. So fitness, movement, healthy eating, that's what we're here for. Reset and recovery, that's giving yourself downtime, giving yourself self-care, proper sleep, less stress. All those things can really hinder your health and your overall wellness, but also can hinder your health goals. So if you're looking to lose weight, things like inflammation, cortisol levels, all of that can wreak havoc on losing weight, but also your hormones, which means it's difficult to lose weight. But then thyroid issues, and a lot of people resonate with a lot of symptoms that stem from unhealthy eating, stressful environmental issues. So, things like smoking, drinking, toxins that you're consuming, if you're consuming pesticides, and then high stress, and then obviously mental well-being. All right, so what we eat matters. So let's unmute everybody here for a second. I think, let's see. Can you guys unmute yourselves? I don't know if I can do it. As you might know from the experience so far in the group, I am not the most tech savvy, which is why I wanted to do this in the first place. I really wanted to learn how to go through these processes. So sometimes I'm not the most efficient at this, but if you guys can unmute yourselves, I would love to hear from you if you think that your general idea of diet is a calorie equal to another calorie. So if you eat 30 calories from an apple, is it the same as having 30 calories from, let's say, a hamburger or something like that? Who's here? Pam?
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, no, it's not. It's not the same calories.
You'd like it to be, yes, of course. Good. Okay, yeah. How about Claire?
No, it's definitely not the same calories.
Okay.
Although it may have a similar effect on weight, but it's not the same in terms of your health.
Right. Good. Okay, awesome. So yes. So some people don't realize that though. And a lot of diets, like fad diets. So obviously we have our overall diet regime, and then you have diets, which are the kind of fatty come and go things that we partake for like 6 weeks or 3 months or whatever it is until we reach a goal. And a lot of those will really focus on calorie in, calorie out, and that's it. And when it comes to losing weight, yes, calories are important because if you go over your calories, you can't lose body fat. But it really matters what you're eating, even in terms of your mental routine. So a lot of the time people will participate in these diets, and they do great because they have structure, they have instruction, they're just following and doing, which is so much easier than actually changing your lifestyle. And what's really important in this is changing your lifestyle, because after those 6 weeks, then what? And so people get lost and confused and start going back to their regular eating, but now they're eating the same foods and the same calories as they did when they were 20 pounds heavier. So that's not going to sustain you when you're 20 pounds less and you want to be healthier. So yes, what you eat absolutely matters. And a good analogy I like to use. Oh, sorry. Can you guys mute yourselves again? Unless you're asking something. And if you want to ask a question that I haven't opened it up for, there's a little thing that you can like raise your hand, and I should get alerted to that as well. So yeah, the analogy is about being like a Ferrari, basically. Like you should treat your bodies like you are the optimal machine. Like, you know, this is the one body you have to take you on for the rest of your lives. What else is going to, you know, take your soul or your being around? But this Ferrari, that's what I want to be a Ferrari. I don't know what car you like, but you can pick whichever car that is. But you know, you need a different kind of gasoline, you need a different type of oil, you need more expensive services and tires and all that sort of thing to really get the most out of that kind of like high performance vehicle. And if you're going to take it to the racetrack and, you know, take it for a pounding around the track like we do when we work out, you have to make sure that you're fueling that properly. If you put subpar fuel in there, it's not going to run very well. It will be slow. Parts will start to run down. Also, if you just filled it with rocks, I mean, that gas tank fits rocks. It can fit into the hole and it can go into the, you know, the actual tank, but is the kind of car going to run? Absolutely not. And certainly not for long. And that's the exact same thing our bodies are like. We have a hole that we fit food into. We have a tank, you know, where anything can fit in there, of course, but it doesn't actually get dispersed to the right parts of your body, and it can really wreak havoc on your gut health, which is connected to your hormones and many other things. So definitely super important. Now, I've written a few slides here going into detail about the actual macros and suggested breakdown of you know, your daily recommended amounts of carbs, fat, protein. The ones here are actually from the government, but I don't particularly love this makeup, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. But I want you to highlight the sugars versus the proteins. That is a high amount of sugar. Usually I would say 40 or less. It's actually, women are supposed to have, I think it's 26 grams a day, and men it's 34, somewhere around there. And so 90 is a lot. And I did a test once at a kid's school. We did a little fair, and I put what most families would make a healthy lunchbox. So a whole wheat peanut butter jelly sandwich, an orange juice or an apple juice box, a granola bar, maybe some sort of like little snacks like goldfish, and I think an apple. And relatively compared to a lot of kids, that's a very healthy lunchbox. But it still contained over 100 grams of sugar for a child, and that is outrageous. I mean, even as adults, we shouldn't be having anywhere near that amount. And protein, especially when we're working out, should be at least at 100. We can get away with a little less, depending on how you work out. But I just want to put some of this information here for you, because I'm going to send the link to this around. You'll get a PDF copy actually, and then you can focus on this yourselves. There is a calculator link down here, so if you want to find out exactly what your macros should look like, then you can revisit that. But I want to tell you that I don't focus very much on macros, not even with people who are, you know, trying to lose weight, unless it's something like cholesterol or, you know, definitely sugar. I'm generally paying attention to the sugar and the fat content and just making sure the protein's high enough. But when you're eating and you get into a good groove of it, you really don't need to be counting calories or macros. You just have to know your portion sizes. And so that's a good thing to learn. And I have something for you to help you with that too. So here, what you should eat. So I know we're busy, and we already heard from a couple of you saying you've got a lot of things your kids are doing and you're on the run. So it does make it very tempting to purchase all the, prepackaged foods, pretty much anything that is in a box, plastic package, has some sort of processing to it, which means that it has preservatives and additives, either coloring or flavors, and then just extra salt, to help it have a longer shelf life. And all these things are not great for your body. It's just extra. So if it's toxic, it's toxic. Even if the FDA has said that it's not toxic at that level, think about the buildup over years and how much are you eating. They can't regulate that, and that is where we're seeing a lot of diet-related diseases and issues coming about. And gut health has been such a big topic these days, because this is what these little amounts of these toxic foods and franken foods. So, foods that are made basically from plastic. Like if you read the ingredients, it's what's in plastic, it's lab food. So the focus would really be on cleaning up your diet, and you can do this slowly over time. So even starting with breakfast being overnight oats, that's a whole food, it's a whole grain. Use maybe, your favorite dairy. I don't drink dairy, but I'll have like a pea protein milk. Ripple's my favorite, and your oats and berries and butter, nut butters, like those are whole foods, less processed. So start with that. If that, if you're kind of starting from scratch, take away the things that are easy, like Quaker oats that you just add, they're quick oats. Those are highly processed. All the stuff that's in it, read the ingredients list. That should be number one where you start. If it's got like any more than 10 ingredients on it, it's a franken food, and find out how you can make it without being packaged. You can do it from home. To highlight though, the recommended guideline for adults to consume fruit and vegetables. We all know it's about 5, 6, 8 a day roughly. Only 12.2% of Americans are actually, like adults, are actually meeting the standard, which is 1.5 to 2 cups of fruit and 2 to 3 cups of vegetables. So again, that's about 5 servings. It's very minimal. And only 12% are actually meeting that, which is terrible. And then we wonder why we're seeing all these diet-related diseases really burdening our healthcare systems. All right, protein. So this is a great one. Everyone's looking for more ways to eat protein, especially when you're more interested to cut back red meat and you want to eat more plant-based. It's really important to keep up the right amount of protein, and there's different types of building blocks in proteins. So eating just one source, just like fruits or vegetables, eating one type of food is not going to get you all the nutrients and vitamins that you actually need. So, where we talk about eating the rainbow, we say that for a reason, because you need to have the diversity in your food. So really pay attention to what you're eating. And this is what this group's about. I really want to inspire you to do some more meals, try some new things. That way you're getting that diversity in your diet. But you can go through this. It just talks a little bit more about these building blocks and why it's important. But protein. So we have the average intake, and when you're trying to lose body fat, you want to actually increase the amount of protein you're taking when you're trying to lose weight or you're trying to build muscle, or if you have an injury or surgery, your body really needs that to repair itself. Plus it also keeps you fuller longer, which we all could use. So, doing something like, sorry, I think someone's, there we go. Like, right after your workout, have a protein shake, have a clean plant-based protein shake just with water or a nut milk if you can. If depends if you're trying to lose weight, you got to watch the calories that you're intaking. But that's a really great way of getting that in very quickly when your body's needing it the most. And I already said this, when you're building muscle, the elderly need a little bit more protein as well. So that actually needs to increase as you get older. And there we go. This is what I thought you would prefer to spend some time on. So you might be surprised to look at this list and see the grams per weight of protein in some of these options. So right now we're just focusing on seafood and meat, but bluefin tuna has the highest, like duck, lamb, that sort of thing, it's actually not some of the highest on the list. These are the top few. I mean, steak's not even on here. So there's a lot that you could choose from to get a lot of protein. And here's your plant and dairy protein sources though. Look at this, pumpkin seeds. So 1 gram per 100 gram weight compared to even the tuna. And what I love about pumpkin seeds, I'm a snacker, so it's great to snack. You can put them on pretty much anything. I put them on salads. You can put them on your oats. I cook them in things. I make them into my protein balls. There's lots of ways to enjoy them. They also have the highest amount of iron than any other thing that you can eat, even over meat. So a lot of us that do eat more plant-based, iron can be an issue. I don't eat red meat at all, like I said. So I eat pumpkin seeds every day. Like I think behind me, I have a big container of them there. And I always just go grab a handful, or like I said, I put them on my foods. So there are a lot of options that you have, even if you are plant-based. All right, now I'm gonna get you guys to all unmute yourselves. I know there's a few new members here too, but if you guys can just unmute yourselves. There we go, perfect. So tell me something about protein that you always thought about it. So why is it important? And what is the protein source that maybe you always go to? So Pam, we'll start with you.
That you need it to fuel your body, and chicken. And this, just like in the last year and a half, we've really gotten excited about chicken thighs because we were always chicken breast family. So.
And why is that?
Because it is holds a lot of flavor. They're super easy to cook, and I just like how versatile they are. So.
Absolutely, yes. It's funny because I mean, again, it doesn't help when. And this could be for another day. I didn't introduce this as well, but I have a master's degree in food and nutrition policy. So I worked a lot in sort of the background of food and this different systems that produce and sell and market our food. And it's crazy how influential the different industries, so meat, dairy, and all the agriculture is connected to government, and how they can really influence what the government then tells us is the guidelines. It's very frustrating. And so a lot of people have generally steered away from certain things. So, I mean, like even in the past, things like, don't eat butter, it's bad for you. And then they created margarine, and then margarine's terrible for you. So now they're like, eat butter. And, these are things that have been going on forever and ever. And a lot of people are afraid of fat. And so, dark meat's bad for you and Yes, while lean meat has less calories in an overall diet, if you're just eating a lot of sugar and carbohydrates that are, high glycemic, and you're eating red meats and high fatty meats instead of the leaner ones, then yes, this is a terrible diet. But if you're eating healthy and you're working out, eating things like that are great. And again, as long as you're watching your sugar and your carbohydrates, the fat is what can also fuel you. So that's awesome. And yes, they're so tasty. It's more moist whenever you're cooking it. So it's a great option. And as you can see, it is high in protein.
It's really cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And Claire, how about you?
Well, I guess in addition to, things like chicken, I have been eating more almonds and black beans, although I didn't realize the beans were kind of low on the list there.
Yeah. I know. And it's fine. Like, beans are great. And the thing, so I'm a vegan chef. A lot of my clients prefer to go plant-based, and you really have to get creative with combinations, because a lot of vegetarians or vegans do think beans are the way to go. And so they end up eating like rice, beans, maybe a vegetable, or everything's made from beans. And they think that's healthy because we think protein and beans are a legume, but they are still very high in carbohydrates. And then a lot of plant-based dieters end up eating very high carbohydrate and way too low everything else, even fat, so it's important to try and like mix it up. So as long as you're you're kind of following, and we'll get to portions and stuff as well. It's fine to mix it all together. Like if you did like a burrito bowl, and you had beans and veggies and tomatoes and, you know, some sort of greens of some sort, and then you're a healthier grain, that's fine. But just relying on just beans, as you can see, is not going to get you very far. But the almonds are really high up there. So that's a great choice. Cindy, how about you?
Is the question what is my main source for protein, or what do I think?
No, just so your idea of protein in your diet, like where does it stand when you're thinking of what to eat? Do you ever think about, oh, what's my protein or how much protein to eat? And if so, in your mind, what is the best one to have, or what is the one that you always go to?
Yeah, so I think I definitely struggle with the amount of protein that's necessary and when to take it. Although you kind of mentioned it, eat protein right after your workout, but then there's all this confusion of fasting and
Yeah.
I just feel like I've kind of I've studied. My son has severe allergies to food, so he's over the last 10 years forced us to learn a lot about food and the actual fueling of our bodies, and so we've been really excited to learn like, you know, fuel and eating to live, not living to eat. But like you're saying, to understand the combinations of the nutrients, to get them from all different sources. I've been challenged to do that with my children.
Yeah, and it's hard with kids, especially if they're picky.
Yes.
Yes.
Or limited.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, well, some of this we'll address in this, but that is definitely another talk. We could have another time just about the actual particular diets, and where that fits in, because some diets do work for people, like some people, and even 5 different diets can work for the same person at just different times in their life, and what their schedule is like, and where your body's at, and what activity you're doing. So it does get very complicated, and it's sold way too fad like, just to bandwagon and make money. But I do believe fasting does help some people. But if you're, you know, like for me, if I do my Peloton in the morning, I usually do a fasted ride. And then I'll fuel after, unless I'm doing weights. And then I'll make sure I get up, I do this natural pre-workout. I have something like a overnight oats with protein in it. And then I'll do my weights, and then I'll do my cardio. And I'll either eat after that if the time has gone by, or I'll have a protein shake. So it's about learning your body and fueling your body. I used to try and do just the fasted workout, but then by 1-2 p.m. I would feel like I had like the flu. Like I was so tired and just miserable. Like it would really make me just not a good human being. And I just couldn't do anything. And I learned that it's because I was fueling my body wrong, and that doesn't work for me. So it just depends on how you feel and how your body reacts to it. But I think that fueling your body, sort of like, again, I'm going to touch on this a little later, but fueling your body like a water wheel. I don't know if you guys know those energy wheels that dip in and get water, and then they go round and round. And if the river is running faster, you know, you get more energy. Our bodies are very much like that. So, you know, if the river is dry and you're not feeding your body, then the wheel's like kind of going around. If you dump the wrong fuel, like rocks, into it, it's going to spin for a bit, and then it's going to stop, you know. And that's just like when we have a lot of sugar, when you get spikes in energy, and then nothing. But if you constantly are giving it the right fuel, a steady stream, your energy levels, your hormone levels, and insulin levels and stuff are more stable. So again, wherever your workout's fitting in the day, and how your energy levels sustain, it can be adjusted, and it's kind of like experimenting a little bit until you feel good. So how about Michelle?
Yeah, so recently, or like in the past, I would always go to steak. That was just my go-to. But now it's more, because we're on the Gulf, we go straight to tuna, and fresh tuna.
Good.
And I fish a lot. And I have learned my body, I kind of stay away from dairy, because dairy doesn't do well with me. So it's mainly fish and chicken is our second choice after, but we do duck and lamb and salmon and
Good.
pork chop. So everything on that list. And I still do some steak. I just don't do it as often as I used to.
Good. Yeah, it's good. I mean, every once in a while is fine, and it's higher in iron, which is great, and just adds to diversity in diet. But it is, it should be a 1 to 2 at most kind of thing per week. But yes, diversity is perfect. So that sounds great. Okay, so for time, I'm going to move on to carbs, and then I'll open it back up to ask more questions for people that I missed. All right, so carbohydrates. So dun, 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 these are the things that people are usually super scared of. And I work with so many clients that will come to me and like, oh, I never eat pasta, and I won't eat bread, and I won't eat potatoes, and I won't eat all these things. Now, none of those things are bad for you. If they are made from, so if the bread's made from whole foods, and the pasta, if it's a whole grain, you could even eat not whole grain pasta every once in a while. It's not going to kill you. It doesn't make you balloon up. But what the problem is when you have an unbalanced diet and you eat these things and a whole bunch of other things that aren't good to a healthy diet, then yes, then eating these things just add to it. Plus, a lot of people are, they think about frying potatoes or French fries or stuff like that. So obviously, eating a potato that you have boiled or baked isn't going to kill you, especially if you're working out. Again, learning how to fuel though with some of these things is really important. So a good rule of thumb is you have your carbs before your workout, and then you keep it lean and green after your workout. Okay, so because when you're fueling, you got to think about, well, now what are you going to do with your body? So you've just put the fuel in. If you don't burn it, then where's it going to go? It's going to get turned to fat to store for later, and your body's going to expect more food, and then it'll just keep doing that unless you use it. So always think about, what's my day going to look like? Realistically, Tuesdays, Thursdays are my workout days. I can eat a great breakfast in the morning, work out at this time, and then I'm lean and green for the rest of the day. So this is carbs don't have to be scary. You just need to plan on how you eat them and choose the right, carbohydrate. So as we know, syrups, sugars, cereals, sodas, candy, these are common sources of carbs that people eat, even in just like little bits or in the afternoon. Oh, I'm tired, I want candy, but it's really, it gets quickly absorbed. It's kind of like, they've shown, I should have put this in the presentation up, but it's the brain X-ray, and it showed that a bit of sugar reacts the exact same in the brain as cocaine. It lights up the same part of the brain. And so it knows that it can get a very quick source of energy from something that's quick absorbing, right? So if you've been programmed since you were a kid and given things that, ooh, that felt great. Like I got this amazing amount of energy. And so your brain now thinks when it's tired, oh, give me chocolate, give me sweets, give me soda. It's just your brain is associating with these things. And this can actually be reprogrammed. The more that you eat healthier, sorry, I keep getting this ding, and I don't know if it's if you guys are raising your hand, and I apologize if I'm not seeing this. Unmute yourself and just jump in if that's the case, but then just ask a question because I'm not seeing the hands. But anyway, so because, we're kind of programmed from a really young age to have these sweets and, sugared cereals and with the sodas, then as we get older, that's just easy. Our bodies go, I need energy. I crave this. I need energy. I crave this, and you give it to it. So it's just like a child learning how to manipulate and get what it wants. Our bodies have done that, and that just becomes a habit. And to break these habits, it doesn't take that long. It really only takes a couple of weeks of clean eating and sort of detoxing. I run cleanses and detoxes. I don't necessarily mean that we're like, power washing the insides of stuck chemicals. But what you are doing is you're giving your body a break from this so that you can wean yourself off of this, and you can actually kick these sort of cravings. So if you know that you're the type of person that's like, oh, I always crave chocolate, or I always crave sweets after dinner, or I always need this, at late night, it's because you've allowed your body to program you that way, and you need to work on unprogramming that. So here are some more common complex carbohydrates. These are ones that break down a little slower. The energy's more efficient because it's longer lasting. And I know we all kind of know this, but whole grain breads and pastas, fruits, vegetables, and legumes are great sources of that. And again, as I said, yes, diet is a science because everybody's body is different, and how we use it is different. How we have abused it is different, and so things do react a little differently. But there is a general science behind it, and the easiest way to get rid of all the noise and what's going to work for you and is stop believing in any magic pills or easy solutions. It's really look at your diet. What are the things that are, toxic, full of chemicals, coming packages, have high amounts of simple carbs, and not healthy fats? Where's the lean protein coming from? And if you just learn to clean up and make those choices, which all of the meal plans that I'm giving you are all about clean, lean kind of eating, but just general, you're still getting to eat desserts. There's some cakes in there and some really delicious snacks. But you are making it from home, which means you get to control what's going in the food. So that's the best way to mitigate diets and the food system and ingredients. Make it at home. I'm going to skip over this. This is just more detail on how carbs work for different diets. And like I said, it's a kind of an experiment for you to see which works best for you. But the source is the most important. Okay. Yes, and so 30% of your daily caloric intake should come from healthy fats. And this is where I'd rather see you get your energy from than sugars. So when I cook for my clients and they're vegan, the calorie content, if I was to show you, is like it's high calorie, high fat, a little lower on the protein, kind of high carb, but everything is clean and made from scratch. And all of them have felt healthier, leaner, and since I've cooked for them, and this is over the last 5 years, and I still make them. If you see my posts, all your favorite foods you'd want in a restaurant, I make them at home from scratch. And because of that, having the right ingredients, they're not gaining any weight, and they're not working out every day crazy or anything more than we do. I eat the same foods, and I've been healthier since. So I know for a fact that eating clean is the way to go. But like I said, you can't just eat what you want, even if it was clean in over portions. Portions matter as well. Okay, so any questions about fats, proteins, carbohydrates before we move on? Look at the time here. Okay, so I'm going to speed through this because I believe there is a limit on my Zoom, but we'll see. If we get cut off, I'll post this to you guys so you can finish it. And then I'm going to give you another PDF for being here today on the portions as well. But I want to talk about stress because we're very much a fitness oriented group. I know from back in the day, being overweight and putting all my focus into fitness, I worked out a lot, like 7 days a week, sometimes twice a day. I'd do 2 classes back to back, or I'd want to do one in the morning and one at night. And while I was fit and my endurance level was amazing, I killed my back and knees and I actually was really spiking cortisol levels and ruining my hormones. I ended up having a thyroid issue and some other things. And I really think it's because of all the stress I was kind of putting on my body since, and my, back issues limited me on what I could do. I tried for years and years and years, just keep going, keep going, keep going. And I was just constantly feeling pain. And now I started working with a trainer and realizing that I don't have to have such high impact, crazy workouts. You can actually be so much more efficient in smaller amounts of time and more safely. And so now I work out 3 or 4 days a week, and I've never seen better results. And obviously, cleaning up the diet as well as doing this has just made overall health, wellness, energy for me just a night and day thing. So I really recommend evaluating what you're doing. So while I love to work out and I love to kill it, if you are really putting all of that effort into the fitness, and again, like I said, not the diet, you're just stressing your body out. You're not giving it what it needs to do those workouts. So it's important that you do focus on closing that gap. And even stress in our everyday lives, environmental, work, kids, you do need to schedule some social time, some self-repair time. So make sure that you're kind of evaluating what's important to you in life, where your stress levels are at, and start working on that. I already talked about the eating little and often. Don't fast, only when you're under a lot of stress. This is terrible for your blood glucose levels. So you should do the whole trickle the energy in. But otherwise, fasting, does work for some people. Eat your carbs. A lot of people that go on high stress either eat all the carbs or they don't eat enough. And that is also, again, terrible for your body. I already said don't starve. So we know overall, for general health, but especially when you're stressed, exercising regularly is very good for you. And things like yoga, stretching, and walking, so not crazy high impact, although boxing or spinning or any of those things do feel really good at the time. If you're doing it too much, you're stressing your body out. Get some sun. We all need vitamin D, or take a good supplement. Reduce caffeine, alcohol, sugar, nicotine, all the fun things. But those are bad environmental damages to your cells. Getting enough sleep. This is huge. I can't stress that enough. And I'm sure everyone knows you feel better when you sleep, but we just don't prioritize it. Making a good sleep routine. So, set an alarm. It's 9 p.m. Time to get ready for bed. Okay, clean your face, have a shower, do this, do that. Stop looking at your phone, put some lavender oil on, drink some cherry juice, which helps. It's got melatonin, natural melatonin in it. These things are things that you really, really want to focus on to help reduce stress and just overall. And then obviously take some time for you. Okay, so staying focused. This is what this group is all about. I love it for myself. It keeps me accountable, but I know that is the biggest thing. You can get all of the information you want on the internet these days. Okay, there's all the diets out there. There's tons of books. There's tons of magazines. There's tons of bloggers. But it's actually doing it and staying accountable, and that consistency that's going to get you anywhere. We know to make or break a habit takes time, and you have to put the time in. But as soon as you start wavering, you go back to the old habits. So really understanding why you want these things. Why do you want to make these lifestyle changes? Why do you want to incorporate whole foods and cooking more? Like, no one wants to work more. I get that. Even when I've been cooking all day, I don't want to meal prep for myself sometimes, but it's a thing that we have to do. We're adults, we're adulting now, and we have to feed ourselves. And if you don't feed yourselves properly, you will feel, hopefully not, but a lot of people do, the results later on in your life. And it just doesn't have to be that way. So starting now is really important, but find your own why and what motivates you, and then get support. You got support from this group, family, friends, meetup groups, and obviously people like me are here to help support that sort of stuff. But really focus on the group, because we're all like-minded people. All of us have the similar struggles and similar goals. So the more that you guys post and share and that sort of thing, the more that we're all going to get from each other. And it just is like helpful for all of us, even me. It motivates me to do more for on the group. So I appreciate that too, if you guys participate more. And then we have this great environment of support. So that's what we're all here for. We are here to discuss meal prepping. We have nutrition basics already. So you kind of understand a little bit more about how a makeup and where to get some of these items from and what to avoid. I'm going to send you another document that shows how to easily use your hands for portioning and what your plate overall should look like. And then you have my meal plan with the grocery list, which is a great sort of like pantry stock list of the healthier alternatives that you should be carrying overall. But when it comes to meal prepping, planning is key. Okay, so we already know eating fast food out is bad for you. Planning and if you fail to plan, that's failure. So having the meal plan, having the grocery list, having structure is very helpful. And while I may not be there for you forever to do this for you, I'm taking that time, and I always give you guys an accountability check-in on Fridays, and then again on Mondays. And the Friday one is really to say, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Like, did you grocery shop yet? Are you going to take some time on Saturday to chop vegetables so that your meal prep's easier on Sunday? But really taking the time to say, hey, this is what I'm blocking out. I can't do plans, around this time because I'm getting stuff done. That is how you are going to be so successful the following week. It's the only way that you will do it. Otherwise, people will be like, oh, hey, let's go. Oh, let's do this. Oh, this event's coming up. Oh, da, da, da. No, you have to be strict with yourself. That's how you are successful. Otherwise, you're just going to, keep going back to your bad habits. And then learning how to do certain meal techniques. Batch cooking, which means like you're cooking a lot of the similar ingredients at the same time. So a big thing of rice, a big thing of quinoa, a big thing of chicken, a big thing of broccoli, and then keeping it in the fridge so it's easy to add. Freeze ahead meals, and then using gadgets that are going to just save you time and that just make cooking easier. So these are like 3 of I use them every day necessities, but everyone has their own favorites there. And then we're going to do a lot more on meal prepping, but this was just about nutrition kind of basics. And I wanted to make sure that people understood macros, but that's not the only important thing is crunching your macros. That's not what's going to make you successful. Overall, what makes you successful is consistency and eating clean, whole foods, making more food at home and not buying into the silver bullets, So I hope this has been helpful so far for number 1. This is a PowerPoint I've done for groups before. I don't do one-on-one coaching anymore. But if you do need help with anything or if you have questions, like just ask me on the group. I'm going to be monthly doing a masterclass. So if you feel like you want some expansion on something or something completely different, let me know. Also, I'm going to do a monthly meal prep along with me, like Zoom. So we'll pick some recipes and I'll show you how we're going to meal prep that in like an hour and a half. And that way you can see my flow. And honestly, you could come with like any recipes you want, whichever diet you're following. As I'm going to stress again, it is not about the science or the professional technique per se. It is really about you just doing it. And the more that you do it, the more natural it's going to feel, the more confident it's going to be. And you will find your groove. You'll find the things that you like, the gadgets you like, the ingredients you like, the dishes you want to do. And then it will become a lot easier. But it just really takes the doing. So just showing up and chopping along and putting it in the oven, you're going to have something done. You're going to feel empowered. You're going to feel confident, and then you're going to be more likely to do it again. And so that's overall, although I'm here to talk about nutrition, that is the number one thing I want you to take away from this. So I'm going to open up the floor before we get booted off Zoom land. Can you guys all unmute yourselves and then let me know if you have any questions or that you came here hoping to answer that I haven't touched on yet. And then maybe I can get that for you. Oh, I see. Oh, thanks, Pam. And Natalie. That's what was missing. Sorry,
Jennifer, I have a question.
Yes, yes, yes.
What's your thought on all of those alternative sweeteners? There isn't a good one, right?
Okay. No, there is. So monk fruit is number one. Just the way that it is processed through your body and your liver, it doesn't spike insulin levels, and it's a very clean sweetener. Plus, it's the best tasting. So any of the desserts you ever see me post, I always replace one for one, like cup for cup or whatever, with monk fruit sweetener. That's my first choice. Second choice is like Swerve or there's another brand out. No, that's a monk fruit. I prefer monk fruit, but there's Swerve. Swerve is still a processed sugar, but again, for the way that it reacts in your body, it's not the same as sugar or a sweetener. And then there's Stevia. And Stevia is also very good for you, but I don't prefer the flavor of it. So it's up to you if you like it or not. I just find it has a funny flavor. And Swerve has a little bit, if you're into baking, you'll be able to tell the difference when you're baking between Swerve and monk fruit sweetener. So my number one would be just go replace everything with monk fruit sweetener. You almost can't tell the difference.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You mentioned to DM.
Go ahead.
Sorry, to DM you with our contact information. Is that, sorry, just going to the group and doing a DM? Is that how you do it, or how do I?
On my Facebook, just go to the Facebook, so if you go to the group and then you go to the admin, if you just message me there, that way it's organized. I've been having a lot of influx to this group, which is great, but I'm having a really hard time. I don't have any staff yet, and I really need it now, and I just haven't found anyone yet, but I need someone who can help me to manage all of this, because yesterday we had like 200 new members. So if you DM me to my actual account and just say what the issue is, like haven't received this, but also let me know on that message, did you register on the website? So if you go to evolvehealthcoaching.com, that's my coaching website. I put a landing page that will just pop up for us for the meal plans. So then all you have to do is put your email in there, and you should now, we figure out what the problem was before for those that tried before. You will now get an email immediately that will have a link in it that you need to press to download the meal plan. Okay, and that's how I've been able to get it to work now. Before, I had a static page that had something that wasn't linking properly. So this is the best way to do it. If you've already tried that and you still haven't received anything and you've checked your junk mail, let me know, because I've got to either take you off the list and then put you back on the list and figure that out. But it will help me, because some people have just not done one thing and then they're telling me they haven't, and then that's a lot of extra work for me to be checking. So just tell me in my DM, did you do it or not? And then if you haven't received it, to please send it to you. That makes sense?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Oh, and then any recommendations for online resource to purchase things we can't find? Yes. Okay. So, I mean, obviously Amazon, they're doing a lot better with things like that. But Thrive is an amazing market. You can find things cheaper than at Whole Foods. So when you're going through the list, like the grocery list, I would go to Thrive first for some of those things. So monk fruit sweetener. I'm trying to think what else, like chia seeds, or I don't know, just like some odd things, maybe some organic nut butters. And there's like, I use coconut aminos instead of soy sauce, because it's soy free. And, there's just lots of products you're going to see along the way that you might not be able to find. Yes, Piggly Wiggly is not going to have that. Oh man, yeah, I know. I've lived in some places like that where you're like super limited. Some places are getting better. Even Walmart's getting better. Target's pretty great for getting organics now and some of these alternative things. I think they even have the monk fruit sweetener I'm talking about. So they're great. But online resource, I order all the time from Amazon and Thrive. Those are the two. Any other questions?
I just wanted to just say really quickly how nice it was for you to do this for us, just to give us a chance to get to know you more and where your heart is. And I study this stuff all the time for fun, not like you, but just for my family. And I picked up a few really good tips. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. It's funny. It's like, it's just something that I've studied and I have such a passion for, and I just can't believe how like confusing this has to be for everybody. And again, because of my own journey and how long it was for me to struggle, like from 18 until I was like, I'm now 39, 18 until I was 35, maybe 34. I just was trying all the things all the time. Nothing was like working, and I just couldn't figure it out until I really got real with the idea of nutrition and to stop trying to find those easy ways out. Like, which is the best protein bar, which is the best granola bar, which is, no, make your own. Like, not all the time. I do have to have some processed foods. I'm not unrealistic, and I like to go out and I like to travel. And so I get it. But overall, if you really can just come to terms with doing this over time, it will change your lifestyle and you'll figure it out. So for me to share that with people, it's just very rewarding. So, and now it's my career. So I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. And I'm glad that you did learn some things from it too. And I hope to do more. So like I said, if anything ever pops up in your mind, that's what that group's for. And, if I'm just talking to a wall all the time, it's not that motivating, to produce things and spend my time doing it. So use the group as much as you want. And I'll do my best to always keep up and give you answers to things. So, and then what says agree, thank you, and no intimidation or shade. Yes, good. I'm glad. Yes. And that's the other thing. I mean, there's only a handful of us here at the moment, but more people are going to watch it, at their own leisure. But the more that we can connect with each other, and like I said, I really want to push to like do rides together. If you've got a Peloton bike, or we could do some sort of floor class together. I think the more that we do that, then the more you'll support each other even on the group. And I think that's really important. And I love groups because as much as it's another social media is great for connecting like-minded people on like-minded paths, which can be hard in your everyday, if you're busy with kids or, married or, whatever, you get stuck in a bubble. And how else are you going to connect with all these like-minded people that will keep you going? So I want to thank you guys for being here and supporting myself, but also, being interested in supporting your own journey to find healthy. And I hope to be as helpful as possible. So I'm going to end it there. I want to say thank you guys. And if you have any questions, just post them to the group, and I check every day. So
I have one quick question. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Where will this recording be posted?
I'm going to, I was going to just email everybody who registered for the class, but I might try and put it up somewhere. I just don't know how and where yet for other people to watch, maybe YouTube. Again, technically challenged over here. So I'll look around and see the best practice, but you guys are going to get emailed this. So, or I'll put the link on Facebook, like on your DM.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right, thanks everyone. And I will see you for the next class. I think we're going to be doing fueling for fitness specifically. And then actually, while I have you here, what do you think about the first meal prep class actually being themed? So not actually the meal plans that you're getting. You guys can do that on your own, but maybe like once a month we do a themed meal prep. So like Christmas or Thanksgiving, well, no, Thanksgiving's be too soon, but Christmas dinner, kind of similar. But like how to make blah, 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 and blah, 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 X meals in this much time and how to make it simpler and healthy, and then, yeah, you love that. Okay. Yeah. Either message or open it up, and you can tell me if you think that's a good idea, if we theme them, or would you prefer just to do the meal plan? So I take 3 of the recipes and then we just prep that together. Okay. All right, that's 3 loves that. Okay, good. All right, so, and for the rest of you who couldn't be here on the actual presentation today, I would encourage you, we have people coming in late. Hi, I'm sorry, I'm just adding you to the group now. I'm just finishing the presentation, but you will get the link to this to rewatch. But I was just thanking you for participating, and please tell me if you would rather a themed monthly cook along together meetup, probably Sundays, would be best, or if you want it to be directly from the meal plan so that it helps tackle that, as you get the new plan. Well, we can feel it out, but I mean, there's always seasons, and it might be more fun to also get something different because you already have the plan. But let me know. I've already had 4 loves it from this group. So thank you very much. And I will see you in the group. So have a great weekend. Get your meal prepping done. Tomorrow's Sunday, and I'll check in with you on Monday.